Thing that he did in the 1930s. He was a doctor and he worked with people, and he thought that most doctors paid too much attention to the symptoms instead of the cause of the symptoms. So in order to understand the mind better, he came up with this. So this is a conscious mind. This represents the conscious mind, and this represents the subconscious mind, and this is the body. And because we're human, we think the body is the biggest part of who we are, but it's not. It's actually the smallest part of who we are. And this is the results we'll get in our life if we pay attention to what's going on. And if we don't pay attention to what's going on, those are still the results we'll get. They won't just be as good. So this represents the conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the analytical thinking. It's where you reason, it's where you have willpower, it's where you have the decisions and the choices you make. That's how we utilize the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is the feeling aspect of who we are. It's where all our feelings and emotions are. And although we think that the conscious mind is what impacts us the most, it's actually the subconscious mind that impacts us the most. Because if we think we should do something, lots of times we just keep thinking we should do it and it never gets done. But if we feel like doing something, we usually end up doing it because there's such an emotional connection to it with the feeling aspect of who we are. So in this part of who we are, the subconscious, although this is where we think we make our decisions from, this is actually where we make our decisions from. So the subconscious is how, like I said, how we feel. And those are the emotional connections to everything we do. So like pertaining to smoking, this is, we feel like having a cigarette or coffee because we've conditioned and patterned and taught ourselves to have a cigarette when we're having coffee. So in order to let go of that, we have to interrupt the patterns in the subconscious mind in order to change what the physical is doing. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is the part that drives us, and I guess that's about it. This is the feeling. Okay, it's going to be upside down, but it doesn't matter. The feeling and emotional aspect of who we are, this is where every decision, pertaining to cigarettes, when I started smoking, first stole cigarettes from my parents' supply and hid in the bushes with my brothers so that I would belong and I would fit in, and I was one of the boys because there were more boys in the family than girls. And so it was a thing to belong and fit in. When I went to school and I was 13 and 14 years old, I wasn't cool. I was some dumb poor butt farm kid, right? I was not cool at all. And in order to become cool, I pilfered my mom and dad's smokes again, and I had to roll them, right? And that day, my parents couldn't afford. Yes, they couldn't afford real store-bought cigarettes, and so had to roll my own smokes. Brought those supplies to school, and all my friends are watching me roll a cigarette, and they're just awed because I was so, I don't know, I became instantaneously popular because I could roll cigarettes and then I actually smoked them, right?
Yeah.
And even though it made me dizzy and nauseated, I kept smoking. I kept learning how to smoke. Until it became a conditioned behavior. So that's how the subconscious works. Is that relationship, that emotional relationship we get with a habit, whether it's smoking or overeating or alcohol, whatever it is, right? And then our physical body has no choice except to act on what this tells us to do.